Red Bull. You guys, okay, you've been waiting for this juicy hot gossip, and now I'm going to deliver it to you. Welcome to story time with Nicole. I'm in Jamaica. I have the fan blowing on me level 3 because it's hot outside, okay? And I am inviting you into the messy process of what God has been doing because it's all still very unclear, okay? So this isn't like a, yay, this is what's happening next. It's like, I have no idea what's going on, not even a little bit. But I'm gonna tell you the moving pieces, and maybe we can all figure it out together, okay? Okay, first let's backtrack. The last thing I thought was happening in my life plan was that I was gonna be committed to YWAM Jamaica for 5 years. Well, why did you think that, Nicole? Well, I was in a 7-day fast while I was still here on the island, and I asked God, how long am I gonna be here? Long story short, I just felt like I heard with his voice him tell me 5 years. And I was like, okay, 5 years, committed to YWAM Jamaica. All right. And I just ran with it. I did ask for confirmation, but I never got it. And if you know me, I'm a woman of faith, okay? I was like, I heard him. I guess I don't even need confirmation. Like, you know, without faith, it's impossible to please God. Like, just move forward. And so I just ran with it and didn't really question it. And then, fast forward, I'm going to visit YWAM Kona, the biggest YWAM base in the world, for those of you who are not familiar with YWAM. And it's the most populated base. I went to go talk with school leaders to try and get mentorship on leading our next school at YWAM Jamaica. And in the process, let's start with this first conversation I had with a school leader where I was explaining to him some things about my leadership at this base. I was explaining just the extreme lack of community and how understaffed we are and just some of the things that are hard. He challenged me and he was like, okay, why do you think you're supposed to be there? And I told him, like, I have a word of the Lord, 5 years. And he pretty immediately, like, was just like, no, Nicole, you didn't get confirmation. You didn't involve your community into that word to, like, test it. You're in a really unhealthy situation. After hearing some of the things that I was saying that I probably shouldn't share here. And I was very disturbed by that, by hearing that. I was just like, hey, don't mess with my plan. Don't challenge me. Like, everything's fine. I'm just gonna keep walking forward. But I went to bed that night feeling really like swirly. And then the next morning, I have a meeting with another school leader and I'm telling him some different pieces, things that to me feel really normal. I was just like explaining again more things about like my leadership, about the situation at the base and what I'm going into. And he also said, Nicole, that's really unhealthy. You need people with you. You can't be doing this alone. And it was really good. He was helping me dream bigger for like, okay, how do I see this entire nation transformed? Like, that's what we want as missionaries, right? We want to see a whole nation be changed and we want to see revival come. That's what we want as believers, right? Whether it's America, Jamaica, Ethiopia, whatever. And so I was just like, yeah, so true. And I can't see a whole nation transformed just by myself. Right now, like, it's only me and one other staff. Our third staff is gonna end up leaving in September for like 6 months, so it just leaves me with one other woman basically, and then our base leaders. And so it's like severely understaffed. Like, we have nobody. I was gonna be the school leader for this September. We had to push it back to January because no students applied, and I knew when no students applied that God was already up to something, but I just didn't know what he's doing. But a couple staff that we thought were gonna come are not coming. Plans changed, some people left, and so as of right now we couldn't run a school even if we wanted to in January because we literally don't have anyone to staff the school. So that's also something interesting in all of this. My plan was to be a DTS school leader this year, but that's just not working out. And so, okay, backtrack, we're going back to this conversation, telling me like, hey, you need people, you need community, you can't do this alone, the culture on the base needs to change, and you can't single-handedly change a culture. Like, people need to kind of bring in a new culture that's healthy and just see transformation happen. And so I was like, wow, okay. And at this point I'm like, wow, multiple people now have told me that I'm in an unhealthy, toxic situation, not just because of the lack of staff, although that is a big thing, but for other reasons that, again, I probably shouldn't share because that just feels like going a little too far. Okay, so he ends up offering me this big, huge open door saying, hey, Nicole, if you want to, if the Lord's on it, you can come join us at YWAM Kona, Fire and Fragrance, which they have like a huge staff. and you can be like a staff on assignment. And my assignment would be YWAM Jamaica, where I would go there with the intents and purposes of basically recruiting other staff who already know they're called to long-term missions. They already know the cost and how hard it is to be in different countries because they're already like experienced and have been to a lot of places. Many of them don't have a commitment to any particular country. They're just kind of waiting to see like what God stirs up and what God invites them into. And so I could go there and recruit staff and try and get as many people as possible to come join me and launch full-time to YWAM Jamaica and see this base like actually revived and be able to actually impact Jamaica. Because right now, like, there is fruit, obviously. Like, you guys have been on my newsletters, you've heard of the fruit, but we're not really making like a big dent, you know? Jamaica's big and there's a lot of brokenness here, and it's always still gonna be one person at a time, but the more people, the more laborers you have, the more you can reach the harvest, right? So I would be able to recruit from them. And not only that, but they said that they would add Jamaica as an outreach location for their DTSs, which is huge because Fire and Fragrance has never been to the Caribbean ever. And Zane, his name is Zane, he was telling me that bases ask Fire and Fragrance all the time if they'll consider sending an outreach team to their country, or if they'll send some staff from their base over to their base, and that he just kind of usually says no because it's all about relationship to them. Like, they want to have trust built and they want to know who they're sending people over to. And so since I did my DTS at Kona with Fire and Fragrance, and a couple of my best friends are the school leaders also over there, he was like, because of that, we have relationship, we have trust, and you know, they can vouch for who you are as a person. And so we just believe in you, and we believe in the fact that if we send a bunch of people to you, that they're going to get taken care of. And so that was like a major open door favor. What that would look like is, starting in October, if I did this, I would go to Norway for 3 months, because every year when you're a staff on the Kona base with Fire and Fragrance, you do leadership training for 3 months every year, like how to carry kingdom culture, your like family vibes with each other as a staff. Just being really unified and strong. You learn about a lot of practicals, like how to lead an outreach, how to disciple, how to, you know, like work people through their problems, all that kind of stuff. Super good, super useful. And so I would do 3 months of that, which is amazing because then I'd be just with the staff, no like interruptions, no distractions, there's no students around yet. I just get to focus on building really deep relationships with them. And, you know, the school leaders gave me permission, like, talk about YWAM Jamaica as often as you can and just advertise as much as possible and pull people into the vision, like who God calls. So I'd have 3 months of uninterrupted time to work on that. And then we would start DTS in January. So after Norway, then in January, we would go back to Kona and I would staff a lecture phase. And so I'd be in a room, I'd be a room mom, and I'd have like probably like 10 girls in the room that I'm just working on discipling through life, living together, you know, sleeping together, all the things. And then I also would be getting an outreach team and start meeting with them, start building culture as the team, and I'd have a co-leader. I'd just go through the lecture phase and all the things that are required when you're a staff in a DTS. And then I would take a big team with me back to YWAM Jamaica for like 2 months to do outreach here on the island, which is so awesome.